Oh.
You gotta stop talking through the intro.
Why not? What do you
like
you mute me?
I'm trying to establish like a new level of like exploring the library, and you gotta stop talking through the intro. I also have to tell you that I'm doing the intro too, because that it's only fair. You can't stop something you don't know you're doing. How you doing, Alex?
I'm all right. As soon as you started the intro, my computer froze, so I was trying to figure out what the heck happened.
It's a very powerful intro. It just sucks the battery life and the internet out of you.
All right, I'm making sure we actually post to the fan server. Last week we didn't post to the fan server.
I thought we did, but maybe we didn't. Maybe
I thought so too.
Wasn't it Joey? We played Joey.
This Joey guy only posts to the other, like the third, the least favorite server.
All the other ones.
I'm just gonna call it the least favorite server. I would say so.
Hello everyone. Sorry if we were late, but if you're watching this in the future, then it really not late for you, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. So we're live. Hey, hello, wow, welcome. Hey, hi,
welcome.
We have a Darren in chat.
That's good because I did tell everybody we'd be live at 7:30, so we are a bit early now.
Hey, we're just keeping people on their toes, right? We're just keeping people on their toes. Lots of stuff to talk about. Definitely got home late, busy, so we'll make this one work.
Make it work.
Oh, see, look, the Marvel Champions isn't even in the shot anymore because of the zoom. Is my zoom?
The zoom?
What? I think my zoom window's small.
Let's do some, I have no clue what you're talking about. I can see it. Hello, Jason. Hello, Ashan. Hello, Aaron. Hello. We all know you're not here for us. You're just here for the sweet spoils.
The sweet spoils? What spoils?
Sweet spoilers. I don't know. I think Joey said that we were spoiling something today. Hello, Steven. I'll double check. Let me read his. Let's read his.
Spoilers? Are we supposed to be doing spoilers yet? Is it spoiler season? Nothing's officially announced yet.
It's always spoiler season. If you're not in release season, you're in spoiler season. Realistically,
I guess so.
Where is this? Let's see. HCG marketing announcement, because I ain't marketing. I don't read his messages. All right.
Jeez, we're just ripping, Joey.
New channel, so I can share things with everyone as well. For now, I'm happy to keep chatter open. But anyway, starting with the invite to exploring the library tonight, we're spoiling one of the 3 remaining champions in Invasions. Is it a sheep? Could be. They can be pretty invasive.
The first sheep champion.
The first sheep champion.
Because, there's so many sheep.
Yeah.
All right. Man, I'm just, trying to collect myself here because I've just been rushing and doing a bunch of stuff. So what you been playing? Let's start there.
So I've done, over the last week, I've done 2 different decks, one for the Tavern Tournament and one for Sunday. Tavern Tournament, I am just playing Alta Pile of Cards with a big splash of bacteriophages. And enough bacteriophages will just crush everybody. I think you've experienced that facing bacteriophages before too, Will. First person I faced, unfortunately,
bacteriophages. Really?
Yeah.
I guess so. With the awareness?
No, bacteriophages are the 5/5s. They're with replicate.
Oh, yeah. So
first person I faced,
you guys take a few steps back. Your opponent should need a place with some space.
Well, there happens to be a lot of shoons in our event, so he doesn't get the luxury of sitting
They're just
back.
rushing in there, and those,
First person I faced was a shoon, and he had no defenses. So those bacteriophages went 10 damage. Next turn, 10 damage. Oh, okay. It goes well. Now the second person was all defensive cards. It was the opposite, but he ended up running out of resources. That was a good game though.
Hey, I thought something was off. Sorry, folks.
What's up?
The zoom windows were real small.
Oh, okay.
Weird.
And then my other match from the weekend, I asked who I was playing. I asked the players what I was playing, and I played Erica. I played Erica Cobras. and
Erica Cobras.
it crushed it again. It's essentially the angel shell from the championship, right? Except you drop down to the 7 chi, and then you do protective stuff, and it's just so good. And I actually ended up decking some people, which is a rare thing in a summoner based deck.
Yeah, Joey and I had a little deck out last night. Went down to 1 card remaining in both decks.
Woo.
Yeah, I was playing Erica, my infamous Erica deck, with a few tweaks for Joey specifically, because just wanted to throw a few things his way to show a few things off. But yeah, I definitely had one of those moments where I had like I got tunnel vision. I saw the win. I went for it, and the game definitely went for another 6 more rounds. And I was not prepared for that. I was like, I was up. I think at this point he was at like 9, and I was at like 23, 24 health. And I'm like, all right, I have the win. He has got 3 cards in hand. What are the chances that the 3 cards are like the perfect sequence? And sure enough, he had the right cards in that situation. And then he pulled off, I think I'm going to call it the Joey special.
Okay.
You want to know what the Joey special is?
Go for it.
So you hit your opponent with a Flingua.
Oh, yeah.
And then you sudden vengeance your own Flingua after it warps behind your opponent. And you come in there and you hit your opponent or something else, other opponents, real hard. So you use the Flingua as like a slingshot. I was like, the Joey special now. Was not prepared for that. I don't think anyone could be prepared for that, but I was not prepared for that. So I'll leave it at that. But yeah, it was close. It definitely came down to it was a snare for the win to save my life total. And I had to play that snare with only 7 cards left in my deck, which put me down to 2. He was at 1, beginning of the round. Bingo, bango. Thanks, Genesis, for having insta-death. People forget about the instant death on the decks, and that's a thing in Genesis, which is interesting. I'm sure there's some debate there, but it was an interesting game. Yes. Definitely some overplays, some misplays on both sides. But hey.
Well, the instant death, just because we have it up. So my perspective, if my guess behind it, is if there wasn't instant death, you could play big fightery cards with abandon because you could do these cool massive things, and then you just be like, well, I'm safe to try to win the game from there because you just can't die.
You
that makes sense.
Pay for them.
Yeah,
you can't pay for the big things if you have no cards in your deck.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so you're saying I got 8 cards in my deck left. I can do Rain of Arrows or Volley of Arrows, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I have no cards left.
No, so I'm not even thinking it's necessarily the last card. I'm saying it's the beginning of the game. You start the game, and you just go, I've got alt. I built my deck with all techniques. Who cares about Aura? Because I can just spam this all and win. And I got that last opportunity rather than having to think about your resources.
You can do that now. We know there's very efficient cards that you can just play.
I'm just squandering about it. I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. Like I get the theme. Your timeline has ended, so your life has ended. Blah 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 blah. But I mean, from a deck playing position, it's like, oh, I lost because I have to do this thing, right? Like I get both sides.
Mm-hmm.
I like that Genesis does it the way that it does because you have to then think about your resources. I appreciate that gameplay and that idea, but it's still like when it does go to that, it's like it doesn't feel like a win. It feels like, I cheesed you out of this win, right? Like I probably shouldn't have won that game against Joey because I went all out on that one turn too much, right? And that should have been the punishment, which should have led me to my ultimate demise. But although I did have a giant scorpion that was supposed to win the game, but then it got the 6 damage from the lunging assault. Sudden vengeance. So it got killed hard.
Okay, gotcha.
The joys of life deck / deck as resource game.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yeah. Teach their own. All right, we got some pitch cards. We got lots of pitch cards. We do have a spoiler. I also have to look at the clock and remember that we didn't start at 7. We started at 7:20. So we got lots of time.
No, we're staying on time. We end at 8, Will.
On time.
All right, do you want me to rant a bit and give support? When I say rant, to help you people pitch better stuff? Or do you want that after we look at the nice people's stuff?
Oh, you want Mean Alex to come out? I can take a dose of Mean Alex.
I don't know if it's mean because I'm trying to give you advice. All right, hey. Okay, we'll start.
You take my advice. It's not mean. It's advice. I'm not being a jerk.
Actually, I'm gonna go with some general advice, which one of them's too late. No, it's more about techniques.
General advice.
This is general advice. The difference between the deck techniques and the alterations. When it came to alterations, what I was looking for were more basic, simple things that were clean.
Like what, Alex? Like we have
Heavy Pillar was very nice and was very clean. It was very unique. It added a whole deck style and a deck build parameter to the game.
Right.
That's what I mean.
But we have this thing in Genesis where like the alterations are always feel bad because they're not really helping you win the game, and you can't really go all in. It's not like you can have like an artifact / alteration deck, right? And you just be like, look at me do my engine this and whatever, right? We don't have those things. Like the board, the map, and the movement really relies on the spells and the techniques. Where do the alterations? Where is that?
That's what I was going to say. The alterations either need to be simple and clean, or make that unique new home. But we're not getting unique new home. I'm saying 80% of the alterations presented were duplicates of already existing alterations. That's it. That was going to be my statement. Or they were so extravagant. They're like, this card has 6 abilities. It does all these things. These 6 abilities do not mesh with each other. They're just like, it destroys an alteration. It has flying for some reason. It is 0. Why does it have flying? It's the alteration. Oh, well, I also gave it ability that it can move. And like it just goes on and on and on. So this is the general simple rule for anybody pitching any card. 3 abilities. You can get away with 2 abilities and 2 half ability. What's a half ability? This ability already exists in the game. Your beckons, your creates. As soon as you try to change any of those abilities a little bit, if you change them, they are no longer a half ability. They are now a unique ability. They also cannot go by that name anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So a lot of cards got banned, failed, because they cannot fit on a card. They physically will not fit on a card, people.
We only got so much space, is what Alex is saying.
Yeah.
And they can't make the text Yu-Gi-Oh size.
So that was my next rule. If I have to reduce your font below 5 points, it's gone. It's not making it to the next level.
Now, as the one of the pitchies,
yeah.
Why do we have to abide by so much text that is so restricted by space? Why, like we're 5 sets in. Can't we play with this a little bit?
Can we play with the text size?
Yeah. Yeah. What do we
already do.
We know what a beckon means.
I want you to go look at Idualis. Idualis is a 4 ability card with which is technically in my rules. I think it's 2 half abilities and 2 full abilities. But those 2 full abilities, which is a whole separate thing, even though I'm saying 3 abilities, those 2 abilities are as long as 2 abilities themselves. It's a whole paragraph each.
And if everyone at home followed that, you are well on your way to becoming a genius. 2 fulls equals a half. Is that 3 rights and the left? I don't know.
If your text is so long in your body that even, because I think Idualis is that like a 4-point font. It is the smallest font in Genesis. And that's why we said we were never doing it again. I could be wrong. It might be 4.5, which is why I'm saying 5, I think, is the cap that I'm allowing right now. Somebody go look at a Idualis. A 5-point font size on the cards.
Oh, I see.
Because once it gets smaller, it's just near impossible to read.
All right. So we're gonna throw one up here. Okay, we're gonna throw this up and see. What do we think about this card here, Alex?
I agree, Jeff. Jeff says 4 points is illegible. I agree. I don't know. I can't see the card.
You can't see the card.
You got. Well, I don't. Are you? No, not unless you're sharing your screen.
All right, so we've got where there's a will, there's a way.
Oh, okay. This is a special card.
Special card. What does special card mean?
It's a special card. Jeff Basio made this card specifically for you. That's not true. Not this card specifically. He spent all of his pitch cards just for you, Will.
But I don't. I'm missing the joke though, Jeff. Like I don't know. Like where there's a will, there's a way. That's tested. That's tried and true. Stick with me. There's a way. We'll figure it out together. But this says any alteration on the same spot as where there's a will, there's a way loses all abilities, and that spot is no longer considered occupied. I just don't get it. I'm just confused.
Now there was a point where I had to tell Jeff, "Hey Jeff, these funny cards, they're great." But if you, I'm not. So this is just a general rule to everybody. This is angry Alex. All right, you know what? This is rant Alex time because it's not actually Jeff. It's most of the people. If I have to spend too much mental energy to fix these cards, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not creating the cards. I'm not fixing it. So when it comes to joke cards, they're great and all. I'm unlike the other pitch contests. These pitch contests are probably three times the amount of submissions, and I'm very happy and proud of that. Yeah. I'm glad the community is doing that. Yep. But that also means there's like double the amount of trash that I have to go through.
Also, Jeff points out that it's a way, not a way. If you catch the difference.
Okay. So,
anyways, if no joke cards is what Alex is saying. Grumpy Alex is here.
Or make it so you better make me laugh. That's the thing.
Oh, is that easy or hard though? All right, here we go. Ending up the alterations. If you see them in Future League, here they are. We're gonna go through these pretty quick because we also have some techniques. We've got seaweed. Alteration, create, execute. So when a combatant moves on or adjacent to seaweed, they gain pinned. At the end of the round, if there's any pinned summons, create seaweed from your subconscious and place it adjacent, to the pinned summon. So you trap a summon, you pin a summon, you make another seaweed. Now we've seen these types of cards before, right? I think there's a few other ones here as well, where like these alterations grow upon themselves. My big thing when I look at these cards initially is what happens if I have 5 of these in my hand and I can play all 5 turn 1.
You're gonna lose the game because you're doing nothing else.
Okay. But also, what happens to the game though? Like what
it
happens
slows
to the
down
game?
for a turn, but that's about realistically it. So like you are going to lose your game. You can do this. You can play cards that slow down your opponent, but it's not generating you a win.
It's not going to generate a win, right? That's
it.
thing.
At the end of the day.
We had the Ritual of the Worm was adjusted to action speed. We'll have to do that one. Sulfur Desolation. 4 health alteration. They're all alterations. When Sulfuric Desolation enters the arena, and at the start of each round, it deals 1 earth damage to all combatants around it, and deals 4 earth damage to all alterations on or around it. It's a lot of damage. If an alteration is destroyed, all champions and summons around the alteration spot take 2 damage. So
I think this person hated alterations.
Hates alterations. Yep, definitely hates alterations. Hates moving around the board. Again, so when it enters in the start of each round, it deals 1 damage to all combatants. So if I drop 3 of these turn 1 around my opponent, then
they take 3, and you probably lost the game because they're just going to double move. And he wasted 3 cards.
Yeah, and they're all like. Yeah, it's interesting. So alterations don't occupy the spot, so you could make this do 4 earth damage to other alterations, but again,
it only does 4 damage to other alterations.
Yeah. You could create this on that same spot.
So I see what you're saying. So you're saying you're playing multiple so that they kill each other and explode. So you are actually doing a little bit more damage. You're right.
More, right?
You're doing like 9 damage.
Compounding.
9 damage for 3 6 cheese. Well, you wouldn't kill the third one, so it'd be 1, 2, 3, 7 damage.
18 aura, and my opponent can get away from it. And it's a card from hand. This is what I'm saying. The alterations are tough. I'm surprised you started with alterations, but maybe that's because the design team finds them tough.
I would agree. Right? I would agree that I'd say the design team find them really tough.
Because you can do so much and so many things potentially works, but yeah, it's tough. It's a tough one.
I don't know if I say this, but I actually don't think the best place for alterations is in the timeline. I think it is too much of an ask that when you pick up an alteration, most of the time, almost 80% of the time, that it is taking away from a combat-based card or something that furthers the game.
So you're saying the alteration should come from the subconscious? Or you want me to have an alteration deck? Hey guys, I got my alteration side deck.
We'll save that for another day and a concept that I have to, because we don't got all the time in the world over
all right
concept I have.
We've got a build. So I like builds because they play underneath you. They do tend to be a bit of the combo-y type pieces because once your opponent moves and you have to move, you have to rebuild it again, and it doesn't move with you, which is kind of weird. Well, I mean, it makes sense, but like it's weird for the gameplay. So this is continuous. Champions on the Council of War. This is one of your AI arts.
Oh, they're all AI arts.
Do not occupy the spot they're on. So I'm going to play this so that I'm assuming that my champions can move through this. Or sorry, my summons can move through me to attack if they're behind me, I guess. That's the best use of this. At the end of the round, a champion that is on the same spot as Council of War may give up 3 cards to another champion on the same spot. For every card given to by a champion, that champion must receive a card not owned by them. So this is kind of maybe a little bit more of a multiplayer.
I saw this as a multiplayer card. Originally, I wasn't going to push it through, but you know what? I was like, I dig it.
It's a cool concept. It's definitely a cool concept, like this high sort of like bidding and trading for war. My question would be, if I have someone else's card in my hand, can I play it if it's not in my colors?
Yes. The only restriction for colors is to build the timeline. That is the only time colors are required at all. And I believe subconscious as well. I don't know if the rules updated for that, but
interesting. We have ourselves a Cuddle Puddle. Huddle? Cuddle Puddle?
Cuddle Puddle.
This is a quick create. Now, we've seen some quick alterations in the past, and the Trap series seems to get a lot more playability with the...
it's true.
They tend to be swift. When Cuddle Puddle enters the arena, place any number of exerted summons that are 5 chi or less on the same spot as Cuddle Puddle. Where the exerted summons implies that they're in the arena, right? Yeah. So all your 5 chis go into one spot.
This one I was like, I'm middle about. I was concerned slightly about it. And it has a requirement, but then it also slightly teleports everything across the board. It can save all your 5 chi summons. I wonder if it's too strong.
Yeah,
it's like.
They play, well, it doesn't save them from a meteorite, but if they play, let's say, Electrical Storm or Tsunami, and then, because most 5 chis have 3 health, you warp them all behind your summon, and then they just, this is potentially, like, bonkers broken, but I have to try it in Future League, I guess.
You have to test it. Now, could it be bonkers broken? Like, I at least say I like that there's a 5 chi cap on it, because then it's like, it's a suggested unique deck build, where you're going to build only 5 chis. But maybe if this card is strong, it is still a good design. It just might need to be way higher than a 4 chi.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, do we have any place summons?
Only you could place all your summons onto River Knee. I think that's about it.
Nothing has like a when this is placed effect.
The rabbit. That deals 3 damage if it's at 1 life.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah, it's all about that.
But it's a crate, so you can't put it on an occupied spot.
That's true. Yeah. Sad.
Now you change that to a trap, and now you have yourself a combo piece. All right. Slip and slide. So we have another alter. Okay, stop. When a combatant moves onto or around slip and slide, it continues moving in the same direction for 2 additional spaces and cannot rotate. If slip and slide has caused the combatant to move to 2 additional spaces, that combatant takes 1 damage and gains water weakness this round. I'll take 1 damage to move 2 additional spaces. I'm doing this to myself.
You do it to yourself? That's fair. It's fair.
This could get pretty nutty. Again, you could when a combatant moves on to slip and slide. So if I put these in a row, I can just slip and slide across the board. 1, 2, boom,
yeah,
boom.
But you have to create them first and then move, right? Or play a card that moves you.
Or if I go slip and slide, space, slip and slide, because then that would be slip and slide.
1, you'd want to put a space
1,
between
2,
them.
and then go whee.
See how far. See, what you want to do is somehow get you to like be able to rotate, so you can like do a board and just like spin around the board.
An infinite loop around the board.
An infinite loop around the board.
There you go. Yeah, I think, but this is something, right? It does something for both sides. You can kind of play it defensively. You can play it offensively. It's got a little bit of damage there. The water weakness is kind of interesting. It does, it gives them for this round. So you can slip and slide them into your water summons, and then they all kind of pile on.
I do wonder if this takes 1 water damage to fit with the theme.
Well, it does say trigger wet, which is kind of weird, but what's the deal with like name triggers? Are we like
don't give me name triggers at the end of the day. I'm going to put those name triggers down, but they'll never stay that way. That's it. You should be using casts, executes. Just keep it simple.
Don't worry, Jeff. I saw the JP in the bottom there. Don't worry. Don't worry, bud. I got you. Oh, another JP. A couple in a row here. How do you pronounce this one, Alex? Plinth?
Plinth. It's a plinth.
It's a plinth.
Yeah.
It's a plinth. Quick create. Whenever a combatant moves around plinth, they take 4 heavy earth damage. Destroy plinth. Plinth.
There's more than one person with the initials JP in the world.
Yeah, Jason Plinth.
Jason Plinth.
This is kind of like, yeah, alterations that deal damage and then destroy themselves. Why would I guess you can do it from across the board? So I like this one.
Go ahead. I like this one too. I wish it didn't kill itself, but
because I mean, yes, sure, I understand there's a concept, if I did an attack that let me deal damage across the board, like Idiris, I could put as many of those in my deck and I can just turn 1, go spam. So I can still do that with this.
Mm-hmm.
This is 6 aura, and I can do, whenever the combatant moves around plinth, they take 4 damage. Now they don't have to move, but at least it gives me a chance to sort of like, can you pile these up? No, you could pile these up.
You can pile these up.
Yeah, it's strong.
Looking at this, it might be too strong.
It would have to occupy the spot. If this occupied the spot it was on and did this ability, I could get behind that. So you couldn't pile them up. You wouldn't be able to pile them up on each other.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Right? Interesting.
So now it's twofold. Now they have to move around it. So you put it in front of your champion. If they're going to come at you, it gives you a little bit of breather. So you force the move and you get the 4 damage, but you can't pile up and do like 5 on a stack and then do 20 damage to Nubia. But I like the idea of having some more area damage. It's just finding that right way to do that, right? Like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, not area. We have lots of area damage. The arena-wide damage.
Yeah.
Rolling Storm. At the end of the round, everything adjacent to Rolling Storm takes 2 air damage. Everything else on Rolling Storm takes 3 air damage. At the beginning of the round, roll dice. If even, place Rolling Storm 1 space to the right. If odd, place. So this one moves around.
I sent a message to the gentleman who made this, and I'm like, I really wish.
Person.
Sure, person. Left. I wish it moved left, forward, right, back. And he was like, well, yeah, but nobody has a D4. And I'm like, I would have just done a D6. 5 would have been, it stayed in place. 6, you would have just chose where it moved. This is going to roll into one of my other rules. that's great that I may once it's published, it's published. I'm not changing the card. That you had your chance to make your design as good as you want. And this includes a person in the chat right now found out that he made a card that goes infinite. That card has now been removed from the contest. That's it. I'm not going to go back and change the card. We're out of alteration time, unfortunately.
It is a contest, right? There's time restrictions. There's things, right? It's not like sometimes some of the older ones there was like it would be like a work period. You could like go back and this is happening a little bit differently, right? So there's some confusion for older people, but newer people, put your best card forward, I guess, right? Put the best version or what you think would work the best.
But more importantly, if I like your card enough to say, "Hey," and I send you a message because I do not send messages to everybody, and I go,
I'll
"Hey,
to everybody.
you can." I think this is really good, or I say, "Cut this down," or I say, "Fix something," and then you don't listen to it. Example: somebody had way too many abilities on a card, but I like the big part of this card. I said, "Bring this down to 3 abilities." They sent me back a new one with 4 abilities. I just moved on.
All right, we gotta keep going. We have way too many. We'll do techniques next week.
We can do techniques. We got lots of time. It's not the same time, Will.
We still have a spoiler, and people are waiting for that spoiler, and we have to go through we have to go through the other things. All right, magnetic meteorite. Enters the arena. Each summon moves 1 space towards it, starting from the side. Champions move on 1 space towards their starting side. What? I'm confused.
When magnetic meteorite
basically, things are moving around in a circle like a maelstrom, right? They're sort of coming into the middle.
So it's saying they move towards when you started the game, your starting spot.
Oh, they're moving
back towards the beginning boards, which is a little weird because I don't think it connects with the magnet that is the meteorite. But I guess it's polar opposites. Polar opposites. Yeah.
So if you put these along a line in the row, then you guys are stuck on either side and you can't move towards them?
No, because it's just it just pushes things away that first time it enters.
Oh, just the first time. That's interesting. Kind of like a big, gives you some space.
Mm-hmm.
Again, different, comes in, does something. Is that a quick one? That is a quick one. Another quick one. We have when Balshatri.
You know what? I'm gonna just say one thing before, but meteorite might be too strong as a quick, right? Because that just counters every technique spells that are close.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. There's the energy cost for champions,
and you do have to put it on. You do have to put it on an unoccupied spot. So if you're face to face, you can't really. Oh.
No, actually, no. It is still broken. Because you'd actually play this defensively, and you yourself, who wants to evade, will never pay the energy to purposely evade. Yeah. Okay.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Balshatri. I'm saying that wrong. I apologize. Enters the arena. Combatants will, with flight adjacent to Balshatri, loses 2 life. Nice. I would probably be aerial, but when the combatant leaves the spot adjacent to Balshatri, they must pay fatigue 4, and they cannot. If they cannot, they lose 2 life. Well, that's nice at the end. End game, a little bit, maybe in the fatigue style decks, they could have this as an option.
Mm-hmm.
Are we worried about flight? Like, I know flight's not the way we normally would think.
I'm not. Yeah. I'm not. But if this ain't my design contest, somebody is out there.
Emerging pentagram. When emerging pentagram enters the arena, exerts all combatants on and adjacent to it, then drains 1 health from each of the combatants exerted by emerging pentagram. All combatants around emerging pentagram gain decay brand forever. Wow. Jeez. All combatants. That's your champions. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't say they can't gain it again. You can just drop all of these down and have -5 decay. Wow.
Sometimes I let stuff go through because to see the future leaguers are doing their job.
Catching these things. Wake up, future leaguers. All right. Magic mushrooms. Is this a JP card? Oh, no, it's an AP card. Maybe that's alternate Pasito.
Pasito.
When magical mushroom enters the arena, any champion adjacent to magic mushroom draws a card. Breakthrough. Yeah, we've seen that. Whenever a champion moves on to or off of magic mushroom, they gain 6 aura. Ooh. And this is either or. So it's what's it called? Uniform or not uniform, but like both sides can use this.
Yes, yeah. Alterations should be like that. All right, next.
Apothecary browse is the ability. So we have different payments. So you can pay 3 to gain 2 Jalarian Hounds. I'd do that. Pay 4, gain 1 elemental resistance. Probably would never do that. Pay 7 or it's 4 energy. Oh, 4 energy to gain 1? No, still no. Pay 7 aura, gain 2 HP. Yep. Remove all ailments. Yep. And curses from you. Yep. Discard a card, draw a card. You may rotate.
Actually, you know what about that 4 energy one?
Cool.
It doesn't say when you keep it for the rest of the game.
Oh, it's forever.
It just says gain it.
Yeah. I would pay 4 energy probably twice then for that. Especially in like Alex's Alta deck. This is interesting. It's a crazy cost. I think that's trying to get I like crazy costs can be good. The artwork's well done. And again, a champion ends their turn on it. So you're kind of that King of the Hill. Some of these are King of the Hill type effects are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hot potato.
Hot potato. Pass it on.
When a combatant moves on to THP. Oh, hot potato. That combatant owner may choose to place THP in an adjacent spot. THP loses 1 health. When THP is sent to the memories from the arena, everything on and around that spot takes 8 hits. So you're kind of passing it over around. Interesting.
Yeah. I can see a giant error on that card.
There is definitely 7. That's a long payoff.
Yeah.
So
well, you could still punch it, right? And bring it right down.
You could punch it, yeah.
The bigger issue.
Nope.
Just somebody looking for a cookie.
Oh, geez. I get that. I understand that. What the payoff here is that's so many turns of just passing back and forth and seeing what happens, right?
Well, you're not going to pass it back. So my issue with these types of cards is you won't pass it back and forth. Realistically, if this is a good payoff, which debatable if it is, you would just play it. You're going to blow it up. You probably move it, push it somehow, and finish it off with a range ability in the right spot to do 8 damage.
Muckenmeyer. Negate all dash abilities. Someone hates Kunn. Created by the combatant around and on Muckenmeyer. Dash abilities cannot be used to move onto squares around Muckenmeyer. Champions and summons on and around Muckenmeyer may only move once during the move phase. Slows down the game. Definitely some dash hate, which, I mean, we don't really have anything that attacks or combats against dash. And we know that Kunn has been doing very well.
Realistically, the question is, would you put this in your sideboard against a con?
Well, right now we don't have enough cards. We don't have enough cards to fit into sideboard to fit against everything, right? You kind of have to pick and choose. So you have to shore up what's missing in your deck. And if the one thing that your deck can't handle is dash, then I think you have a pretty strong deck. They're going to get in your face. Except for Kunn, who sometimes can try to leave and gain a couple cards or gain a couple rounds, right? But knowing that they're coming after you can play around where they're going. Catapult. That's not a pun. All summons.
I don't think so.
No. I would be like, place an Anja Tiger anywhere in the arena. All summons on Catapult have action cost none. Deal 1 damage to anything in the arena. Then kill this summon. Is that... The summon has that? Okay.
Yeah, all summons
Modify if this summon is a 6G or greater, deal 2 damage instead.
Yeah, I like this one.
What's the card in Magic? It's the
Goblin Bombardment.
Goblin Bombardment or Munitions Expert or whatever that is. Yeah. Elemental Conduit.
Well, we're about to get a little wonky.
Is this wonky? All right.
I like the concept he was going with this one. I think it needs a whole week to figure out how to make it work properly. Let's read it.
So Elemental Conduit's line of sight, and between Elemental Conduits and Pillar, While element conduit's line of sight is
While
between,
in elemental conduit's line of sight.
while in elemental conduit's line of sight and between elemental conduit and a pillar, and you don't already have an elemental weakness of that elemental pillar type, gain the type of elemental weakness. Okay. If anyone is moved or placed on a spot within line of sight between a pillar and an elemental conduit, then they take 1 damage of that pillar's elemental type.
So essentially, if you put a pillar on one side of the board, you can put this on the opposite side of the board, and that whole line is now essentially the elemental pillar of branding. As well as when you go into that line, you take the damage. The concept here is really cool. It just might be requiring too much.
Yeah, you're making that connection between the pillars, right?
Because right now, as the wording is, it's you gain the weakness of that pillar. That's not really the right wording. If that makes sense, like there's a lot of non-right wording in the ability here, but I think it's really cool. Yeah, I think it's really cool concept.
It could definitely make a pillar deck a little bit more playable, right? Like definitely lean into that pillar style, create another way of approaching that deck style. Monument, sorry. We have a crate and a fragile crate. So fragile just means it has less health. Abilities that cost energy cost X energy more, where X is 2 times the health of Monument of Equality. Abilities that cost X or more, where X is 2 times. So basically, it's a tax card.
Yeah, I think the energy might be too high. I think paying 6 energy more for abilities.
Yeah, I think all your mages would play this against their fighters, because it's like, yeah. But it's also some math. Like I'm not sure how much math we're asking people to do. So, but
I do like this. I do think a tax deck at some point will be viable.
Yeah,
I just don't think the numbers might be right here. I think 6, the base, because we're saying it's a base 3, a base 6. All your fighters cards are going to cost 6 energy more, and because it's costs more, they don't get a reduction on this more.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think tax cards are definitely something in the future for sure, because Genesis players are a little greedy when it comes to deck building. Little greedy, I think, and taxing would be a great way to equalize that while maybe producing a different style of gameplay. All right, we got
I-beam tower.
I-beam tower. Yeah. So we have I-beam tower, create, trigger. At the end of the round, I-beam rotates clockwise, deals 3 damage to everything in the line of sight of I-beam tower. So that's just a rotating weapon of mass destruction.
I love this one. However, I have one concern, and it's just the fact of dropping a handful of I-beam towers. That's it. That's the only concern about it. Otherwise, I love this design so much.
If you can line these up too, then it'd just be a little bit nutty. So it might need some tweaking. Hopefully, the future league can help with that one.
At the end of the day, you can just play 50 card deck of this because it's 5G. So turn.
This is basically for Jeff.
This is a Jeff card. This is for Jeff.
This is a Jeff card. I'm thinking. All right, this is my card because it says WK and everyone knows who that is. But I'm like, man, if Jeff's gonna run with his 5G thing, I need to give him some tools. I need to give Jeff the tools to win, and he could do this. He just has to now figure out how to place these so that every couple turns they all line up and they all hit. I will say that Alex changed this card. Mine died after a couple of rounds. Okay,
but that's not the issue here.
There's no issue
with this dying in 3 rounds. It's the only round that's a problem is the first round. Right?
Why is it the problem the first round?
Because the first round is where you can play them, and your opponent can't evade them realistically.
Oh, because at the end of the round.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the beginning of the next round, and that's probably where that was.
If it was the beginning of the next round, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, if there was a delay on this,
yep.
But even if it's the beginning of the next round, if it would do the same thing, there's something missing here to make it balance, and that's it.
Again,
maybe if it's 4G and it does 2 damage, because it's still be that
could
cool
be the damage thing, right?
That you have to rotate. If you had to, because like that's the thing I like. If this is in the middle of the board and you have to keep rotating, or else you're gonna get hit. That sounds really fun.
I just channeled all my, Bowser's castle, having to dodge all those fire beams. Rotate the end of the round, laser shoots beginning the next round. Let's make it more confusing. So the direction of an alteration is usually the same when you create it. It's the same.
Yeah, it's just the same as
direction as you.
We don't explicitly say it on the all the Beck stuff.
See now, Jeff. See, Joey's going deep, right? Now he's like, oh, dungeon crawling. He's thinking about having some puzzles, looking around, trying to figure it out. But I want to go one step deeper. A little peripheral visions, and now you line them all up, right? So now you got your I-beam tower, your peripheral visions, you rotate, you get your next I-beam tower, and you have a whole deck just for Jeff.
All right. Next
card.
Night
table. Night table. I think, is this the one that I thought was pretty cool? Yeah, this one was at the end of the round, champion on Knight's Tower may pay 5 energy. If they do, they may move each ally summon adjacent to Night table. I thought that was kind of an interesting one because at the end of the round, you could kind of give yourself some space. It is each ally summon. It kind of gives you a bit more of that tactics feel, where you can set up your next ability. So I think those are a lot of really cool ideas. Some of the coolest alterations we've seen outside of like what's your favorite alteration right now in Genesis? Not traps. We're excluding traps because the traps are all decent.
Yeah, I don't think there is much other than the traps realistically. The pillars, I think are outclassed by the summons that brand.
You're either pillar or you're summon, right? The brander or the summon or the pillar.
River Knee is the best.
River Knee, right?
River Knee.
That was right.
Yeah.
No one's playing walls. No one's playing fortifications. We're not playing quicksands anymore, except for Jeff. We're not doing spike pits, infernal pit stuff. None of these things are showing up. The fire hills aren't a thing anymore, right? They've all gone through their phases, and we haven't really seen something. See a lot of play. So, all right. Do we want to touch on techniques, or do we want to go to we want to break down our spoiler?
There is only 4 techniques. I don't know if you want to get it out of the way. Now I'm going to continue my rant that I didn't finish. So where I said alterations, I didn't want them to be. I wanted them to be more simple. Techniques are the opposite. You can go more crazy with techniques. If you give me simple, I'm just going to. I also could have created a forward that dealt 2 damage. Yes, if it's a vanilla technique that just deals damage, it's not going through. That's it. You can go crazy with techniques.
What if it is a better than cross punch? All right. We've got ankle break, forward awareness. The awareness is a little bit more important here. Although some of the awarenesses were pretty cool on the alterations. You move, then target combatant in ankle breaker's awareness moves in the opposite direction and gain slowed. So kind of like a slippery, but you get to move this time, and they're forced to move. So that's interesting. Now, you could do a lot of things with some alterations here, right? Because if you move and they have to move in the opposite direction, you could force them to move on to stuff.
For sure.
Kind of interesting. Jockey. Place yourself on a spot in jockey for positions awareness. You may rotate. Okay, so a movement card. Oh, actually, sorry, a placement card.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice the awareness.
It was a movement card. I fixed that. Make sure to not put move when you want your people to go on top of things.
Right. We have an interesting sort of awareness there too. Draw X cards where X is the difference between your thoughts and the target champion in the same spot as you. You may reduce the number of cards drawn this way. They may reduce the number of cards by paying 5 energy per card. A different way of looking at fatigue, maybe. So card draw. So it's interesting because you're going to put yourself in a spot where you can attack them this round to draw some cards, but you're giving them the chance to pay out. So it's interesting. If you're against a fighter, though, this is going to hurt you more than them. Potentially.
Well, I don't think it hurts you at all. It just might.
I just look at the 6
make
energy,
energy costs, right?
Like if you're paying 6 energy to draw X cards, right? How many cards is that going to be that you need to draw? 2? 3 energy per card?
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. And that the energy costs. I understand why you put it on there, and that's actually a nice balancer.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely. I think this card would need a lot of finagling to figure out the right numbers. That's I think is it at the end of the day.
But yeah, draw is always interesting in this game.
Do you know what I see this for? This is for the Stampeding Force deck because you place place all your cards from your hands on you play all your Stampeding Forces.
It does go in the Stampeding Force deck, yeah.
And then you're like, I need to get more Stampeding Forces. How do I do this?
It doesn't trigger the Stampeding Force though.
It doesn't, unfortunately. It unfortunately does not. I can bring it back to move. Then you can't move
then
on.
You have to be in Bellum for flight. Night Stomp. All right. You may rotate first. Place yourself on a spot in Night Stomp's awareness. Oh, we have the same awareness, but extended a bit. Deal 4 damage to everything on that spot.
You're doing the chess Night move.
Yep. It's the Night Stomp. I get it. Ground Pound. You deal 4 damage to a stunned combatant on the same spot as you. Interesting. You deal 2 damage to the combatant on the same spot as you.
So it's interesting.
We don't have a lot of damage same spot, right?
Yeah. Like these, and it's funny, 3 of these new cards that passed and went through today are all those type of effects being on top of you.
It is a space that hasn't seen, because it's kind of counter to what a lot of the other abilities do, but leaning into it, you kind of give yourself. But man, this would have to not, like, this could not be in Kunn's colors, because this is just instant Kunn card.
It's easy to go off with Kunn. Yeah.
Ugh.
I think the issue awkward one with Ground Pound is getting stunned and then also needing to be on top of a person.
Right. All right. Off to the topic of the show. Last few minutes of the show, we have a what am I going to now? Oops.
I have a messaging from marketing from Awesome Haunted Castle Gaming. They sent me a message.
Okay.
I lost the message. Where did he send this to me?
Is it the same one they sent to me?
Oh, maybe he did. He said I should be nicer to you guys. Does this guy know who I am? I'm going down next week. I'm going to be extra mean to everybody.
All right. Let's talk about the champions. All right, folks, here we go. Champion time. We've got a bunch of champions already sort of released. And yeah, Alex and I don't think we've actually talked about any of these because your internet sucked, but now it works. Why? Because you plugged it in.
Wait, what did we not talk about?
The champions. Have we talked about the champions that have been spoiled?
I don't know.
I don't think we have.
I guess not.
Proteus. What are your thoughts?
I love Proteus. I think. I don't see what you're looking at. I'm pretty sure Proteus is Axon Phage.
Axon Phage.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed Proteus. I played Proteus at the championship if you had the time to face me.
That was correct.
I think I faced Will. Proteus is fun. At the end of the day, it's fun to have the options in a game.
Now, I have told you that Proteus is probably the best, is better than Alta.
Sure.
And might be the one that takes away or could be replace that powerhouse for this next set. At least from what we've seen so far. Like, Proteus feels very strong to me, having that flexibility, and especially what we know with, losing one health. It seems like it's a big thing, but there's a lot of things that trigger off of losing health.
For sure.
So I'm afraid of Proteus. I think there's going to be a lot. But as I've stated, 2023, I'm playing only blue decks for any major championship. So all blue all day. So I am I'm totally turning 180 degrees. It's like I've never played mono red in Magic, and now all I play is mono red. So I'm going full blue. So that's it this year, full blue. So probably going to play Proteus if it comes out when it comes out.
All right.
I think it's really strong. We'll have to see what the card pool and what people build with it, but I'm afraid of Proteus.
Mm-hmm.
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn has had a lot of ups and downs in her existence in Future League. We did a survey a long time ago and she came out #1, everybody's favorite Future League card. I don't remember if you remember that survey. And then everybody was like, yes, here she comes in Origins. And then Sid was like, oh yeah, no, she's not in Origins. And everybody was like, oh. That's what I got there for that.
All right. I am against Harley Quinn because I am a fan of Erica, and this basically makes Erica look like useless and just the worst champion design ever. Like, this is a free pox spreader. We don't know what that is. If this is a 2/2, like, all Erica fans need to riot and just like burn your Erica cards on stream, because like, this is ridiculous to me. You getting a free something. Okay, let's say it's a 2/2.
Sure.
You get a free 2/2 every time you exert or every time you beckon something, and you want to beckon things because you're in Phage and you get to like tons of bugs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it, but this is another one. Is this the Okay, well, I've played in Future League, so this is this is the beginning of Swarm. But I've said these things in Future League too, and clearly, I'm trusting that this has been discussed in the background, yada yada yada. But like, I don't understand this design.
That's fair. At the end of the day, though, Harley Quinn is two completely different colors than Erica. They're not in the same space at all, other than the perception that they're both summoners at the end of the day.
Right.
At that,
so I had this. So right? I'm playing Erica in this Tavern Brawlers thing, right? And we had a great discussion the other night when I was playing. I forget. I think it was Dave. But anyways, the Erica's summoning ability is not so much a summon that you get. It's actually just a half a card. Like it's a seventh card in your hand. When you have nothing else to play, you have this option.
Yes,
so
for sure.
Looking at it that way, there is some benefit to being like, oh, I have nothing to play in my hand. I have this thing. Boom, I can do it. Here, I have to play something from my hand, but now I get two of it.
Sure.
So I guess.
Well, you'll get two of it, but you get
two of things on the board. You played one thing to get an extra turn. Now you have two extra turns.
Mm-hmm.
So in that vein, I can kind of see where these designs are different. I get the colors they do, but I don't know. JC's saying she has 150 aura, right? But she also has 18 health. I would take 23 health and 125 aura, because look at what Idris can do with 125 aura. How many Brooks can Idris play while fireballing still? Like it's insane. So, and yeah, I'm afraid of this one.
Each guy who is a fireball will.
No, it's not. It's a fireball that travels so slow and then dies before it does anything.
Anyway, continue on.
All right. Catanius.
Oh, Catanius.
Living in the Iblis shadow.
I don't even know if it's living in the Iblis shadow. I don't know what it is. But I don't know how to spin this one.
So this ability is basically a wish list, right? You have part of your side deck is now a specific number of cards that you can wish into the beginning of the game, and you just get that card. Sorry, 2 cards actually.
Yes, you can get up to 2 cards. Yeah.
Now the big thing is you always have that combo piece. Boom, done. That makes sense. You don't.
No, you don't. If your starting hand is all 3 cheese, you can only get 3 cheese out of the.
What is your deck going to be? It's like all 3s and 7s. That's your own fault.
Oh yeah, I agree. But no, like even if you did if you had a deck with a 3, a 4, 5, 6, and 7, but your hand's all, you don't get that upper end. You don't get a swap them out. So it's not guaranteed at all.
All right. sorry, I used the wrong word. It's not guaranteed.
All right.
But you have the opportunity to get the exact card you need in your opening hand. But it's only one time. Is that one time, do we have cards outside of, say, Dense Fog that have a lasting effect that you only need one of them and you need it right at the beginning of the game? Rapier's Precision and Dense Fog
just enchantments
that come to my mind.
Yeah, no, not really.
So the rest of the stats, 2191, can you build something within this sort of, within that time frame, or sorry, within that sort of mindset, and ignoring the prepared ability, as because you're going to get your one card, sure, you're happy, boom, but it's still a 3 attack if it's Swift.
Sure. It's not my type of fighter. I'm more of a big health fighter. If I'm going to play a fighter, they're going to have lots of health.
Yeah, Dex and Joey's saying that it's revealed. People know what you've switched in, what switched out, right? So you're actually revealing and showing multiple parts of your hand. So I don't know. I'm interested to see where this one goes. Iblis sort of created a deck for herself.
I need to check something.
Uh-oh.
Do you have Proteus up on the screen?
Proteus? I can put Proteus back
sorry,
up.
No, Catanius.
I got Catanius back up, yeah.
So, one thing we never talked about. What happens to those cards you swapped out in the game 2?
You may reveal the 2 cards from your thoughts and put them in your 4 thoughts. If you do, then for each reveal card this way. So they're in your 4 thoughts. But I think beginning of the game, round 2, the deck goes back. It's in your 4 thoughts. You could swap them out, right? Like it could just be part of your sideboarding. Yeah,
I think you can fix it for sideboarding. Okay. Just something I never thought about till right now.
But then when you go to your next match, you have to put your deck back to original deck list order. So I think it fixes itself.
It fixes itself, yeah. It fixes itself in 4 thoughts.
All right. You dial. If I say that right?
I don't know. Where's Carl to give us the pronunciation?
I know it has something to do with a Jedi, but it's Yedai. Yedial. All right, Yedial. So this is a third option for this color pairing. We have Kasha and Suttir. One of those is better than the other. Again, so this is the second. Okay, almost. I had it almost right. Carl says this is the second champion in a row that has Swift 3 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Now, not the same awareness, but this design is pretty cool. I definitely like this assassin design. We have 124, so kind of similar to like a Kunn here. We have Swift cast. You deal 2 dark holy damage to everything on a target spot around you. Dial. There we go. Yeah, I was with Jeff. Dial.
For me, Dial here is I don't think we even specified. This is if we look at the designer on this card, it is Carl Lilly. This is Carl Lilly's first champion.
Woo! Congrats, Carl.
Yeah, we should state this. I think this champion's very clean. I don't think the base card is like crazy. It's a very clean. You know what he's doing. Fightery stuff.
Non-targeting damage in close, I think, is fantastic.
Yeah.
Right? Definitely playing with that Idris sort of non-targeting, but not from across the board. I'm excited to see where this one goes. And then the other champion that we have that's been spoiled tonight.
We're about to be spoiled.
is, again, wording, guys. The wording of these cards. Ligaya? Ligaya. There's no I there. Ligaya. Sure. I don't know. Maybe again, we have JC here at the bottom of this card. Ligaya.
JC's first champion.
Ligaya. All right. We have red, blue, 19, 130 aura, 0 energy reduction. Swift, water attack 1. Continuous, the first summon you beckon in a round enters the arena with an additional +1 life.
Now, when people look at this, they think that this is nothing. And it's just wrong. I know you've played Future League. I've played this card many times. that 1 HP essentially upgrades every single summon you play to essentially a chi higher. Would you agree?
That was the Future League concept, right? Like you're basically, if we're looking at sort of like a 5 chi is a 3/3, 6 chi is a 4/4, a 7 chi is a 5/5, right? Every time you play this, you get that extra health.
Yeah.
The first one.
Yeah.
We tried playing this in Future League with every summon, and it got a little ridiculous.
At the end of the day, yeah, when it was every summon, it was just too overwhelming. You couldn't get through it whether you were playing an AoE deck or not. It was just too much.
The big elephant in the room with this one is we already have complaints of Chrono Walker has too much health.
Sure, yeah.
Now your Chrono Walkers are coming down with an extra health.
I would agree, but then...
But you're wasting your health on that one summon.
Yeah, you're weighing in on that Chrono Walker, and it's not really an offensive card. Based on itself, versus like having a Brook that has 6 health, I think it's pretty powerful. Or even an Angel Tiger.
Yeah, Angel Tiger with 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, take that one for sure. But again, first summon in a round, not a turn.
Yes, yeah.
So you have to you're going to plan out your summons a little bit more strategically. But
now, there was the argument, Future Leaguers wanted to switch to a turn, and I think you remember this argument. We just said no, because then you just play Angel Tigers and Chrono Walkers. Yeah. That's it. That's all that this is if it's every single turn.
My thing here to throw it out live and to have some reaction is that what is happening inside of Thymos and Axon? Because they just pump out the same people all the time, like around 20 health, around 130 aura, no differences. There's no 150s. There's no 80 auras. There's nothing like they're all the same. We have Kareen, 20, 125, right? 115. 20, 115. Then we have Cato with 21, 135. And now we have Legaia, 19, 130. I guess there's some difference on the energy side. But you just look at those two numbers. But if you just look at those two numbers. Sorry, last time apparently I got a little loud on the live stream, so I have to keep it down a little bit. This is interesting. It's definitely, you have to play summons to get this ability. It's not alterations, it's only summons. Are we going to see a sheep?
Are we going to see sheep?
You can't say.
I will. You know what? I'll ruin people's expectations. We will not see a sheep in this set. In Invasions.
So now you can go pitch all your sheep.
Yeah, I'm expecting tons of sheep pitches when we get to summons. And I will use the sheep art from Legaia on every single sheep card.
Apparently, Jeff Bezito's been hard at work creating his own take on this.
I hope it's just a sheep heart. There's not even one for Legaia. It's just the sheep. I would want to get a lore question that was down there. Darren asked, this fairy doesn't have pointy ears. Is this a lore hint in the art or just accent? No, none of the fairies have had pointy ears. You're taking the elves. The fairies have been half elves.
Let's not put the races of Genesis in a box. Let's expand our minds. Be a little bit more woke about what a race is. I don't know. I'm just speaking. We need beavers and raccoons. We don't have any. I'm
expecting a beaver and a raccoon from you during the pitch contest.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
There was this. I don't know if anyone remembers the armadillo that was pitched, but that was one of my favorites.
I like the armadillo.
What a dillo!
What a dillo!
The name could have used a little bit of work, but hey, I liked it. I got one for spells. Perfect. Lots of pitches to come. So yeah, this is our. What is this? Our. We have 1, 2, 3. So we have the 3 demon-esque, right? Well, that's been spoiled, right? We know that there's invasions.
3 demons, yeah.
Invasions has phage and there's demons. We have elf in Yadael.
Yeah.
And we have a fairy in Legaia.
Yeah.
Cool. What else do we got? How many more champions left to spoil?
We have 2 more champions. Tune in next week where we will be spoiling another one.
Actually?
Yeah.
Wow.
As a spoiler for Will.
Yay. Yeah, so interesting. I think there's a lot of cool pitches out there. I think people are really sort of pushing alterations. I'm excited to see where the rest of the techniques go. We have new names on the champions, so JC and Jeff. Not Jeff, JC and Carl. Oh god, imagine if Jeff made a champion.
I was just thinking next week we're going to present the Jeff Pasito champion. And it's not going to be a real champion. It's just going to, but we're not going to say that.
But that would mean that he wins the championship. And he gets to create his own champion.
Well, he can't lose. He's going to play a 5G deck. It's unstoppable.
I tried building him one, but he was chirping me tonight. One per week through January. Nice.
Yes.
That's awesome. This is cool. So is this potentially leading us into some more spoiler season stuff? I think this is going to be exciting to see what else comes up after we do these champions. Invasions is still Q2. We're looking forward to that. Just as we wrap up here tonight, remember, if you haven't got involved in the Tavern Brawlers online thing, there's going to be doing some weekly stuff there. They're putting out a lot of content, doing a lot of OP stuff has arrived over there for them. I think the league thing is going to be happening again. It's closed right now because they got the 16 players. Looking to keep that running. It's a lot of fun playing online and doing that. We got Thursday nights. Check out One Side of the Coin. We have Steve-O's been putting out Genesis content since day one. He definitely puts a lot of interest in. Did you see his ESA deck?
No.
Have you heard about his ESA deck with the healing of the snares?
No, I haven't. I think in passing, but I haven't seen much about it.
Yeah.
I heard much about it.
It was
just keeping them stuck in stairs.
Yeah. He heals the snares up, keeps them stuck there forever, and then hits them with Aja Tigers. So, yeah, Joe G helped make the big, helped with the Tavern Brawlers thing. We have Dex and Drafts streamed some Genesis last night. You can watch me go right down to the wire. One card left on that stream. Scheming Skeleton, I think he teased his lore videos. I think he's working on them. Hopefully they'll be coming out soon. And I'm trying to think if there's anyone else. Do we have any other online content creators doing stuff?
We're past time, Will. You're thinking too much.
I want to make sure I hit all the content creators. I can't remember anyone else. Jeff does some fan content there, so you can always give Jeff some props, as well as his cracking packs in cars. No, collectors cracking packs.
Cracking cars in packs.
Cracking cars in packs.
Yeah,
I would watch that show. All right. Hopefully you enjoyed this pitch contest. We are keeping going with this, so hold on with us as we go through all these pitch contest cards. We want to make sure that people's pitches get out there. Also, trying to get some people excited to join Future League and try out these cards. So, weekly awareness, Joey says tomorrow. Cool, sounds good. So, pitch contest cards will come out. We have your techniques. Get them in. When they get the techniques in by Saturday?
Sunday's last day.
By Sunday?
Yeah.
Then we have, I assume, spells and summons coming up after that, right? Running through.
I believe after techniques, we got enchantments, then spells, then summons.
Lots of pitches still to come. Woo! Here we go.
Woo!
All right. Thanks for watching. Hopefully everyone else has a great week, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good one. Bye.